the 411, folks.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the studio. I'm Pat Daly, and this is the 411 podcast. To my right, my friend Michael Quattromani.
Pleasure as always.
And to my left, my friend Will Casey.
Happy to be here.
Always is, boys.
Always is.
How? Now, it's a little somber today because, you know, a couple nights ago we had a bit of a tough
tragedy.
loss. A tragedy. We'll get into it. But, boys, how we doing? I'm feeling good still. Mike.
I'm good.
Always got
Not
to
a
say
whole
about
lot.
it. You know,
Really got not a whole lot.
nothing new.
By the way, just figured this out today. Next week is mid-quarter for the first quarter of
same here.
school. I mean,
Crazy.
unreal, right?
Will, how we doing?
2 and 2 hurts a little bit.
Yes, it does, but
Not too worried. It was Brian Hoyer.
that's
all.
right.
We'll
All
get
right.
into it.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it. So first, we're gonna start it off obviously with the kind of the headline news: Patriots Chiefs, a tough loss. We're gonna get into it. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Secondly, we're gonna be talking Patriots Broncos. So Newton most likely not being there. We're gonna talk about who's gonna get that starting spot, how it's gonna play out. Next up, we're doing fantasy stocks. So we're gonna say one guy that is trending in the right direction and one guy that isn't, and decide if we should buy them low or sell them high. And to finish it off, we have our way too early Super Bowl winner predictions.
Yep, so stay till the end because we got some scorching takes.
We got
like always, but
I feel like this kid's gonna have a bit of a scorching take. Will, start us off. Pats Chiefs. How do we feel about it?
I mean, I don't think there's that much to analyze from this game, really.
Me neither. To be completely honest.
All it really proves is that the Patriots' offense is kind of a mess without Cam.
Yes.
We're heavily reliant on Cam, and now everyone knows it. Everyone knows our offense is nothing without Cam Newton.
Do you see that as a little bit of a problem? Now everybody
Yeah.
It could make it
Yeah.
make it slightly easier for other teams to figure out our offense. But
I think it presents a little bit of a problem knowing that, wait, oh shoot, it's literally our entire offense.
I think I was a little too, and maybe you guys were too. I think I was a little too naive coming into the season, thinking like, oh, our offense, Edelman's still got it.
yeah,
And
Demir Bird, that
N'Keal
guy.
Harry's gonna be good, and our run's been good, but like, and it has been.
Cam Newton's making the plays, really.
It hasn't been. Well, Cam Newton is. Like, take Cam Newton out of it. Take just the rest of the offense. They've been good.
You know what I literally just thought about? Imagine if we didn't sign Cam Newton. This would be
I know.
My God.
I know.
We would
Like,
be the Jets.
for
We
a
would be the
while,
Jets.
like throughout like quarantine. This is the New England Patriots we were predicting about.
And here's the thing.
That's
I
scary.
I
That's
said deep
scary.
quarantine. Our last podcast, I said 5-11.
That wouldn't have been a crazy.
It's not
prediction.
looking too crazy
It wouldn't
right
have been
now.
a crazy
We didn't have
prediction.
Newton. Luckily,
Look,
we do though.
the first thing I want to say, our defense is still alive, and our defense played really good, really good.
Yeah, it did. It
Like,
played better than I thought it
If
would.
you can hold the defending
That's a
Patrick
great point.
Mahomes
6.
Super Bowl champions to 6 points in a half, that's ridiculous. That is
Tyreek
crazy.
Hill had a catch with like 7 minutes left in the first quarter, and I said to myself, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't have a catch for the rest of the first quarter, and rest of the first half, and he didn't, because they just shut him down. They shut him down the entire time,
Right.
Look
and
at
he
you
did a
go.
fantastic job.
And look, it came down to the offense. You know, look, we're way past that. You know what I mean? Like, we're so past this. Over and over again, Hoyer just sucks. He has proved that he couldn't get it done, especially in the red zone with the two, as Michael would say,
Got it.
abysmal drops.
Yeah.
Absolutely embarrassing.
Terrible.
And if we
Terrible,
converted, I
terrible
think, at least 3 points, we still would have been in that game. I think it was
You could
smart.
have been up at halftime.
Right.
We're getting the ball
I
back.
think it was smart to start Hoyer in this game. He's a weathered veteran. He's a bit of a journeyman, but he was once a Patriot. It checks all the boxes. But he put up 130 yards, 1 interception, and 2 absolute flub-ups in the red zone.
Flub-ups.
Flub-ups.
I didn't know this coming into the game, but I heard Jim Nantz say it like 10 minutes before. He's like, yeah, Brian Hoyer has lost his last 11 out of 12 games starting.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh? Like,
Not-
what?
Not a good stat to hear.
I want to say one thing we haven't talked about yet is Damian Harris. He's back.
I was just going to say that. Over 100 yards.
No,
Very
not
impressive.
over.
carries on
He
100
had
yards.
100
Exactly
yards.
100 yards.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm
100.
excited. I'm excited for Damian Harris. The Patriots have not had a running back that can go out there on first down and pound for 5 yards.
It's fine.
Second and 5 is a lot easier than second and 2.
Yep.
It's almost like a breath of fresh air, to be completely honest with
And
you.
look, I don't think he had too many rushes under 2 yards, which is definitely refreshing. But the one thing with me is kind of like, okay, he looked good. Like, he was getting like 3 yards a carry, which is good. But then he broke out that 41-yard rush. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. That
Um,
is like that's the thing that this team has been
yes,
missing is those
absolutely.
explosive runs.
But one thing I think you do need to take into consideration is that you knew that they were going to run this ball a ton against the Chiefs. one of
Yeah.
the worst run defenses in the league, and without Cam Newton, they're going to be running the ball.
Mhm.
You have to know that going in. I wouldn't expect Damian Harris to be putting up like that kind of performance every single game, but I think he's definitely going to be a plus to our offense.
I think so too. I don't think he's gonna be having 100, but I think that his yards per carry is gonna be relatively high.
Look,
When Sony Michel gets back in the mix, it's gonna be a back and forth between them two carrying the ball on first and second down. But we're always gonna see Burkhead taking a few carries here and there, and James White is always going to be dominating that third
down back. Exactly. Look, like kind of Will kind of said, we're 2-2. That kind of stings a little bit.
Yeah, I don't like 2-2.
And to be completely honest with you, this team very well could have been 4-0. This could have been a 4-0 team
Yeah,
easily.
I think so too. Look, I have a few things. I don't have too much. Patrick Mahomes almost threw 3 interceptions.
And
Two
once again,
drops,
a test
one by
to the
McCourty
defense.
on like the first play of the
I
game.
couldn't even believe that.
One by
Look.
J.C. Jackson, where there were 3 Patriot defenders in Tyreek Hill, and it just went through his hands. And then the one interception he did throw, he actually threw an interception, but he got
Got called
called
back.
down for it. The defense held Mahomes to 230 passing yards. Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill had a combined 7 catches. Brian Hoyer fumbled the ball in the red zone and got sacked in the red zone, preventing them from scoring 3 points.
This gives me a hell of a lot of confidence when Newton's back.
Just like Patriots were down by 3 points in the fourth quarter against the defending champs. Julian Edelman had as many catches as he did drops, one of them being returned for a pick six.
He won't be a Patriot next season.
And remember,
Hey.
He will
no,
not be a
Don't
Patriot
shoot my man
next
Edelman.
season.
He
He will
That
not be a
is-
Patriot.
Yes, he
next
will.
season.
that is a bold take.
Not a Patriot next season.
Remember, this is all without Cam Newton. That's all I got.
Edelman will once
really
again,
all I got.
Belichick will get rid of Edelman.
I disagree.
No way he stays.
I think that's a raw emotion.
I think it's a little premature.
Yeah,
It's
that
not,
too.
He's been dropping stuff since last year with Brady.
Okay, and he's still on the team. So what makes you think that drops this year are going to affect his?
I don't know. I
presence
think
on the
we
team
need to either
anymore?
trade him or get some draft picks. I just,
Trade him. Who's going to want a 35-year-old
Nobody.
receiver?
it's Edelman though. Edelman's solid. He's still solid. He's still got that name.
Then why would you cut him?
He's making.
Oh yeah, he's.
He's still making.
won't
I
be a
get what you're
Patriot
saying
next
with the
year.
drops. I just don't think you cut him.
I'm not saying you cut him. I think I say you trade him. I think I just don't. I don't see him as a Patriot next season.
I do. That's
Yeah,
really
me
all
as
I
well.
got.
Yeah. Just to sum up though, with Newton in, we win that game. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I think the game's a lot. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the 26-10 score that they had is not an accurate representation of how that game really went. I mean, there were points on that, that they had that they just didn't, there were drives that they had that should have got put into points that they didn't. I mean, 2 red zone plays that.
I agree with you. It's not representative of what the Patriots team actually is.
Absolutely. It's just how they played as a whole. Look, 10 points is not an accurate representation of how the offense really played, given all of the Pats flub-ups that the Patriots had. I mean, there are some positive takeaways to have from this game. I don't think it's all negative.
Yeah.
But again, Will said before the podcast last week, he goes, I'm not overjoyous with 2 moral victories in a season. And I agree. I'm not happy. I was happy after the Seahawks game. Like, I was genuinely happy. I'm like, okay, you almost beat
At
the
that
Super Bowl
point, we didn't
contenders.
know what they had.
I'm not happy, right? Even with Cam Newton not being there and this game being that close, I'm not happy about it. I mean, you're 2-2.
Only
You're
thing
a
I can be
500
happy
team.
about is the defense.
I completely agree.
Defense, Damian Harris, I think.
Yep,
Just to
completely
wrap
agree.
up, anything else, Will?
I think that's everything. Defense, Damian Harris. Pray and Cam Newton will be back for next week.
We'll see.
It's a stretch, but yeah, that's all I got too.
All you got? All right. So we're gonna be talking Patriots Broncos, and I want to start with the tale of the backup quarterbacks. I'm gonna trademark
I
that.
think
Should
we
be an
all
interesting
know
one.
where we stand.
Yes.
Brian Hoyer.
Right. So it's most likely that Newton, I don't think, will start this
No,
game.
I think he has a better chance than you think he does.
He's got quarantine for 2 weeks, dude.
No, he doesn't.
Or
He doesn't.
or produce 2.
It's 5 days. If he's
5 days, that's what I
asymptomatic for 5 days
And
and he gets
produces
2 negative
two
tests
negative
in a row
tests.
that he can play.
With the nature of this virus, though, dude, I don't see that.
Yeah, but I don't think it's out of the question. I mean, the Patriots
Yeah, I
didn't
don't
have
think
any
it's out of the
other
question
cases.
If I was a
besides
betting
that.
man, Cam Newton does not. start.
Absolutely. I'm just thinking. I don't think it's out of the question.
So let's roll with my theory, my prediction. If Newton is out,
Okay, yes. I like that better.
I'm gonna roll with who you think should start and who you think the Patriots will start. Will.
I think Jarrett Stidham on both counts there. He did have 2 interceptions, one of which clearly was not his fault. In the second, he only threw because it was desperation time. He was trying to get something going on the offense. Just slinging it down the field in a last-ditch effort to get some points on the board there. I think Jarrett Stidham, I liked him better last game, and I think the Patriots are sticking with him for
All right.
week 5.
Mike.
I would love to see Stidham in there because then, we can really see what a full week of practice and
Yeah.
planning on Jarrett Stidham being the starting
You also,
quarterback is
right,
going to
you
look
also
like.
got to remember, they found out on Saturday that, Newton's not playing.
Yeah, and
They had
I'm
no
just saying
time.
you get a full week with Jarrett Stidham being like the starting quarterback in practices. But when have the Patriots ever done something that you think is like a good choice? Like
Never.
they're gonna start Hoyer.
I just said, I think Stidham should start, but I think Hoyer is going to start.
Yeah.
He's the veteran. It just seems like a Bill move.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean by
Okay,
that?
here's-
It seems like something that Bill would do.
My
Just
issue
like-
my issue with that is that he got benched midway through this game. If he doesn't get benched, then I think he starts next week. But
Yeah,
just the
absolutely.
fact that he got benched mid-game,
It
I
does
think
tell me
I
a
think
lot.
he's gonna.
Yeah,
he's
you know
not
what?
gonna be starting.
Actually, I agree. I think Stidham's gonna get the start. I think Bill's gonna come to that realization. I think Bill's gonna start.
He's
next
been
week.
doing a lot. He signed on Cam Newton instead of someone more Tom Brady-esque.
Yeah.
I really hope so.
So I think Stidham will get the start next week. I really hope he does.
I'd like to see what he's got. I really do.
Look,
because
this isn't the Broncos team that we've
this offense
that's
is
been
banged.
hyping up in the offseason. Injuries have obviously destroyed them, and we are facing against the remnants of this team. The Broncos are coming into this game 1-3 after beating the Jets.
Jeps.
And obviously we're sitting at 2-2. But I was doing some digging. All right, I was going season by season, and I figured out the Patriots' record after a loss. They're 25-7. 25-7.
I like the sound of that.
I don't think. Look, I think the odds are just in their favor that they're going to beat this beaten up Broncos team. And the word is that Jake Lock, as of Tuesday night when we're recording this, Jake Lock has a 50-50 shot to play. I don't think he's gonna play. He didn't practice Tuesday. And I think Brett Ripien put up 37 points last week. I don't think they're gonna be too quick to rush back Jake Lock.
I
this week.
believe Philip Lindsay's also 50-50 for next
Yeah.
week as well.
Look, the offensive Denver is banged up. As
Their-
long as our
Their defense too.
and their defense, I want to put it like this, very simple. As long as our offense does something, a minimum, a touchdown or two,
A touchdown or two.
and the defense plays the way that they did last week, we will win by at least 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think it's more about the injuries that the Broncos have and less about the Patriots' talent without Cam Newton.
We're catching the Broncos at a very lucky time.
Yeah.
I know, but Melvin Gordon poses some type of
That's true,
rushing
but we
threat.
also thought that Clyde Edwards-Helaire was going to do
We
that
shut
too.
him down.
And we
pretty
shut
well.
him down. I think he had like
It's just
3.8
something to
yards per
think
carry.
about.
It is something to
keep
think
an
about.
eye on. Philip Lindsay is 50-50.
Pats will game plan that. My score prediction is 18-7 Patriots. This is gonna be a
Oh, I
low-scoring,
forgot to do a score prediction.
low-scoring game.
Yeah, I did too.
I just
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't see this obviously being a high-scoring game. This is 2 banged-up teams. I think either Stidham or Hoyer is gonna muscle through this one, and hopefully creak past with a win. But
Yeah, I'm gonna go even lower. I think it's gonna be like 13-10 or like
Wow.
13-7.
That
I don't
close.
see this. Yeah, I don't see either team really out. I think it's gonna be more of like a who can outlast the other. I don't think either team's gonna like run away with this thing. I mean, both teams are banged up, and for all intents and purposes, yes, the Patriots left points on the table last week, but they put up 10 against a not banged up, but against actually no, they were banged up. They didn't have the Chiefs didn't have Chris Jones last week. The Chiefs don't have a good defense, and you put up 10 for all intents and purposes. So, I don't think the Broncos have much worse of a defense than the Chiefs do. So, I don't think that, you can expect them to do much better. I think 13 is a very... Look, the line is the Patriots are favored by 7, which I think is too much. I don't think it's going to be... Dude, if they don't have Cam Newton, then how can you think this team is going to play that well?
7 against the 1-3 Broncos, who are banged up and have lost
So are
almost
the
every single
Patriots.
piece
So
on
are
their
the
offense?
Patriots.
I think the
They don't
Patriots-
have their best player, and Will said it earlier. He's their offense, and we saw that on Showcase Monday night.
I
I
think we can muscle through the Broncos. If we can,
we can.
if
I
we
just
can,
don't think
if
it's
we
gonna
can
be by that
hang,
much.
If our defense has the same performance as last
if
week,
we can hang with the Chiefs hang, I know the score doesn't represent that, but if we can hang with the Chiefs, we're going to beat the Broncos. I'm not concerned about that.
Okay, fine. 17-10.
Convinced him. Will.
Now, I kind of disagree. I think it's going to be a normal scoring week. Going with 24-17 Patriots.
Okay.
2 rushing touchdowns for Cam, if he plays.
If he plays.
You're pretty sold he's playing.
I really want him to play.
I would, for fantasy wise, I would love
want
Cam
him to
Newton to
play.
play.
This is
not the fantasy section.
We'll see.
That's true.
All right, so next segment up, we have fantasy stocks. So just to reiterate, we're taking 2 guys, one that has performed really well and one that has not, and we're going to determine whether you should buy them low or sell them high. Will, I'm going to start
It's all
off
about
with you.
trends.
All about trends. Those damn arrows. Let's get into it.
Now, I'm going to start off with a really, really hot take this week. Damian Harris.
Okay.
His first week back, he rushed 17 times for 100 yards and no touchdowns. To be fair, it was a weak Patriots offense, and Cam Newton wasn't out there to rush the ball. Also, Sony Michel is hurt for now. However, because Sony Michel is hurt, he's going to get a lot more looks in the coming weeks. I know I'm probably pretty early on this, but I see a couple good performances out of him in the next few weeks.
I got a down arrow. You have it up?
I do.
I don't, like I said, it was without, like you said, it was without Cam against one of the worst rush defenses in the NFL. He's not going to produce like that again. It was good to see. I don't see it.
I have a down arrow, but it's more because for me it's just kind of too early to tell.
Who's to say?
Pretty much. I don't think that there's going to be a bell cow in this offense. I think that obviously, like in years past, as of recently, it's been a committee of 2, 3, possibly 4 backs.
Strictly because I just don't think you can trust Patriots backs when it comes to fantasy.
No, I think you trust James White in PPR. James White can definitely be a flex play. But look, if Damian Harris full on just exceeds Sony Michel, then yeah, he's gonna be the one. He'd be the first and second down back, and he's gonna be getting a ton of carries and a run-heavy offense. So in that way, I agree with Will. I think that if Damian Harris is the guy that the Patriots have been preaching he is, then I think he can be a really good running back. He just reminds me of Sony Michel a lot. He doesn't catch the ball. In PPR, he had 100 yards, but that was only 10 fantasy points.
But he's different than Sony Michel in the sense that Sony kind of dances. He kind of,
No, Sony does not
Damian-
dance.
no. Damian Harris
This is what I liked
stings
about
it right up the middle.
That's what I liked about him. Patriots don't have a
Sony
guy like that.
Michel is a little. He's a little skippy, a little.
No, he doesn't.
little
It's the
hoppy.
opposite.
If the hole's not there, Damian Harris is going to smash through it. Sony Michel won't do that.
He's a smash mouth back.
James White, pass catching back. He's always running up the sides. Same deal as Rex Burkhead. He only
James
runs.
White is your skippy guy. He's Sweet Feet. That's his nickname. Sony Michel is your
No,
ground
no,
and
no, no, no.
pound 2 yards up
He
the
is
middle.
not a ground and
Yes,
pound
he is,
running
dude.
back.
He's like
Oh my
230
God.
pounds. The guy's short and stout. He runs up the middle, halfback off tackle every time.
He's supposed to do that.
Right.
Yeah, and he
But
does.
he runs up to the hole and he kind of waits. He dances a little bit.
No,
Dancing
he
is the
does
only
not.
way to
I think
describe it.
Damian Harris does more waiting than he does. They ran so many toss plays with Damian Harris and so many stretch plays with him. Every play with Sony Michel when they run it is halfback off tackle. Every single play. They never do that with Damian Harris.
Fine.
Not never, but they do that with
We
Damian
can
Harris.
stop comparing the way that they play and just compare more than who played better. Damian Harris, he
Dude,
killed it.
in one game.
And I'm the biggest advocate for that. I put a down arrow. I'm just saying that I think Damian Harris is a better running back than Sony Michel is.
So far, yeah. But I don't think it gives an accurate depiction of what he is as a player. It's one game.
And we'll see. And I guess you're right about that. Will, second guy.
Next up, we got, sadly, AJ Green.
I thought about putting him down.
I had high hopes for him at the beginning of the season. Kept him on my bench for 4 weeks now. He's done nothing. And I'm having trouble advocating for him still. So I'm giving him a down arrow.
Yeah.
I've got sideways down. I've
Sideways
got
There's a little bit of hope left.
Will introduced me to the sideways down.
We've gotten real creative.
Yeah, but look, again, I was a very big advocate along with Will for AJ Green coming into the season. I don't think he's bad. I still think he has a chance to be a viable receiver.
He
but
does,
the only
he
thing
does.
that worries me is Tyler Boyd is greatly exceeding him.
I was just gonna say
Great-
Tyler
and
Boyd.
not even that though. Not even that.
Joe
because
Burrow has loved Tyler
that
Boyd.
too,
I was
but
just
but we've seen players like Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones work. So I don't think that's the problem. The problem is T. Higgins, their second round pick, is playing better than AJ Green, which makes AJ Green the third
No,
guy there.
the other issue with Green is his targets are now starting to trend down too. After he's had 0 production, he caught only 1 of 5 targets last
Yeah.
week for 3 yards.
Not good.
And Burrow's been throwing for over 300 yards at least
Yes.
for 3 straight games now.
Yep, he's been playing really well. But
He's
Higgins
he's
in back-to-back weeks
thrown well.
has 21 and 13.
AJ Green had only 25 fantasy points on the year. Definite down arrow. Get rid of him. Don't
Down
start
arrow
him.
for this guy.
I've still got hope, but not
Mike.
a lot.
Give us your players.
All right, so number 1, my player that's trending up is Joe Mixon. Same team as AJ Green. We're not going too far.
I have Joe Mixon on my fantasy team.
So obviously Joe's coming off a monster performance of 44 points
Ridiculous.
after his abysmal first 3 weeks, and I think it's going to be really hard for him to return back to his 2019 self. Obviously in 2019 he came off to a shaky start too after putting up 3 and 5 in weeks 1 and 2, and then just putting up 17 in week 3 and never turning back since that. But his next 4 to 6 games are against top 9 defense. Wow, it's a lot of down arrows. Are against top 9 defenses in fantasy. He's already proven that he can't perform well against tough defenses because dating back to last season, he only averages 11 points per game against good defenses.
He's
I would
spotty.
trade him. I would trade him while his stock is
Here's-
still high.
Right. Here's the deal. Here's the game plan.
Here's the deal.
I am giving Joe, like strictly in our fantasy league, I'm giving him 1 week.
I like that.
I'm giving him 1 week. This week I'm keeping him. This is his last chance. If he doesn't put up at least 15
He is
points,
on
he's gone.
very
He's
thin.
bounced. He's gone. And honestly, I'd rather have him put up 15 points so he can at least hold that stock.
And I tried to buy him low. While we're on our own fantasy league, I offered Pat Leonard Fournette for Joe Mixon straight up, and Pat's like, I'm gonna consider it.
No.
Yes, you said I'm leaning towards
Before-
saying yes.
Before the 40-point performance.
Yeah, obviously.
Right.
That's why I just said I was thinking of buying him low.
I don't like Fournette. Naturally, you all know that.
And that's why I think you were so close to saying yes. That's how bad Joe
That's
Mixon
how
was
terrible
playing,
he was doing.
right?
I saw a thing on, I think it was just like Instagram, and it's like, 1's a coincidence, 2 is an anomaly, 3 is a habit.
Yeah.
Once you got 3 really bad games, I think it was 3 is a trend. 3 is a trend.
Hey, we're
It's
talking
also a
about
number
trends
to
right
number.
now.
Hey.
I think he's going down.
It's the way to go.
Pat, do you have him going down?
No.
Yeah, last time I checked.
Just a little bit.
Will Mixon thoughts, just same as us?
I can't really stand up for him.
Look, he's just not.
Have we said down arrow on all players so far?
I think we might have. He ended up arrow and Harris.
That's true.
Up arrow and Harris.
All right, so my second
You guys are
player
negative Nancy's today.
my player that I have trending down, the biggest bust in 2020,
Darrell Henderson.
Kenyon Drake. Far and away, Kenyon Drake, I don't think there's too much competition for that title. He is the biggest bust of
I'm
2020.
staying negative. Jeez.
Me too.
Come
Kenyon
on,
Drake was
can we get something happy going?
I know, seriously. It's too
It's
bad.
been a tough week. Let's get some.
I know.
I do have to say I had trouble coming up with a real positive player for this week.
Look, he was a great example of a guy who was just madly overhyped over the offseason coming into the season. But why was he hyped so much?
Kenyon Drake was like a second-round draft pick.
He was. He has always been a boomer bust player. Last year he had 6 games under 10 and 3 games over 30. If you have him, I would hold and just wait for him to have a big game, kind of like Joe Mixon, so you can just trade him away because right now he's just not worth the headache.
He's a bench player. I wouldn't worry about him too much. Hold on to him for just in case.
Completely great. I just don't think. But you also, some players you can say like, oh, they're facing, this team this week. It's a really good matchup, right? Well, you can't even play because of that because he has a combined 8 points versus the second and fourth worst fantasy defenses in the league. So you can't even play matchups with him. I think he's just gonna ride your bench until he puts up like 35 and then you ship him.
Also, I'd like to add that Chase Edmonds has been a popular waiver wire pickup for this week.
Love that pickup.
I don't know. I think stay away. Kenyon Drake's not actually hurt, so
Sure
I'm
playing
thinking,
like that.
maybe
He really is,
maybe
yeah.
we've given up on him, but I don't know if.
And I
These
think
areas have
and I
some.
think a lot of that is attested to Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins just taking so much of the weight of that offense. Do you know what I mean? They've really just taken it over. And it's a good thing, I guess, but
I think Kyler Murray has outrushed Kenyon Drake this year.
I think so. All right, so I got Tom Brady. So Tom is off a fantastic game against
Pat, you're gonna do it to us again.
the rookie Herbert, and I am negative
Well, you know what, Will? I'm not negative.
Positive.
I've got 8 up arrows.
Wow.
TB12
Give me those.
is the man. I traded him to Will. Will, I expect a huge thank you letter for that. I want to mail it to my door.
Hold it.
I'm gonna say it. Up. He's
Yes.
Wow. So, I think no because I just
How?
don't. I just don't think this game paints an accurate representation
All right,
of
all right,
Tom
all right,
Brady's
all right.
2020 season. He had a good game.
All right.
Yes,
no,
he did.
no. The Buccaneers didn't start off how we thought they would,
Yes.
but they're due. They are a good team.
They're-
Deep down,
yes,
deep
they
down in
are a
their
good
soul,
team, and he
they are a
has
good
great
team.
team.
And the first few weeks have not been a good.
You wanna talk about
representation of who they
trends?
are.
I know.
Tom Brady is trending so far up, and he's not going to fall. He put up 44 fantasy points, 5 touchdowns, 370 yards against the top 5 pass defense.
He's got the Packers, Raiders, and Saints all coming up. That's scary.
Packers
It's
are
a
scary
test.
now.
The Packers? Yeah, the Packers are really
The Packers,
good.
the
It's gonna be a
Packers
high-scoring
offense,
game.
maybe.
It's going to be a high-scoring game. Brady's going to have to keep up.
Agreed.
It's going to be a duel of the quarterbacks. It's going to be an awesome
Not to
game.
mention how the Buccaneers defense has been playing recently.
They're awesome. They're so good
They're-
right now.
they're
They're like
doing
top
good.
5 in the NFL.
I see. If we want to talk about the Packers Bucks, which is I think it's Thursday night. I think it's just Thursday night
It's
football.
good Thursday night.
No,
football
it's Sunday at 4:25.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was Thursday. So, oh wait,
No, Thursday, Chicago.
I was about to say I knew the Buccaneers were playing Thursday this week. I just didn't know if it was against the Packers. But if we're talking about this game, you just it was gonna be a duel of quarterbacks, a battle of the quarterbacks. I think Rodgers is trending in a better position than Brady is. I think Rodgers is playing better than Brady is.
Oh, Rodgers is playing fantastic.
I think
Not taking anything away
Rodgers
from him.
fantasy wise is all right. We are talking about fantasy. I'm gonna stay strictly on fantasy.
Let's
Like
yep.
here's the thing. Brady has done this with. I mean, Mike Evans hasn't been healthy all year, and Chris Godwin has missed about to be 3 games. He's
Mike-
doing with.
Mike
is-
Evans. Mike Evans is
what
also
you're,
due for
what
an
you're
injury.
saying isn't an accurate representation of Tom Brady. Isn't really an accurate representation of the Buccaneers.
Aaron Rodgers,
The Buccaneers
fair.
as a team.
The Buccaneers as a team is
They've
great.
been misrepresented. We all thought they were going to be good and they weren't because they've had their troubles. They're gonna get over them.
Buccaneers are 3-1. They lost week 1. They are on a 3-game win streak.
Yeah, but
Carolina,
people are
Denver,
still
Against-
disappointed.
against not so impressive.
What I'm
teams.
trying to say is
Chargers?
people are still disappointed because they didn't come out booming the best team in the
Completely
league.
agree.
Nobody gets excited.
And
else
I
that
said
happens.
it after the week 1. How could you?
I'm not budging. Tom Brady.
Fine, don't budge. You watch. Ready? What is he right now? It's number 7. He will finish as a top 10 quarterback at the end of 2020. Mark my words right now.
I don't know about that.
No doubt about it.
All right. So
Will,
my,
give me your second. I mean,
my,
Pat, give me your
my
second.
final guy is going to be Deshaun Watson. So, he's had a decent season. He's had 20, 22-esque points every single week. Obviously, the Texans have not had a pretty decent season. But I see Watson and the Texans taking a turn in the right direction. I do. I think you buy this guy low. I think Watson's got a good couple of games ahead. And I think for firing Bill O'Brien, I think automatically this team is going to trend in a better direction than they were.
Jacksonville, Tennessee, Green Bay, Jacksonville, Cleveland.
Jacksonville twice in Cleveland.
Yeah, and he's not even by low. 23-16, 21-27.
I
That's not
think
bad.
it's okay. I think it's okay. It's not impressive, but I think automatically seeing the Houston Texans logo next to his name is unattractive because the Texans are doing abysmal.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at with my sideways arrow.
I still have to put an arrow.
Speaking fantasy wise, he's a decent quarterback option. Definitely not ideal week over week. He's averaging just around 20 points. Not ideal, but he's there. He has potential.
He's got potential. I'm with you.
He's missing D-Hop this year. I'll give
He
him
is.
that.
He really, really is. Will Fuller's doing fine.
He's doing good. He just killed me last week. But look, if you're thinking of trading for Watson, I think it all depends. Obviously, it's super obvious, but it all depends on like what you would have to give up for him.
Yes.
Well, look, if you're giving up like a flex player,
Deshaun
I would
Watson
do it.
is what I mean by
dude, look at his matchups.
What I mean by buy low means this. You could get him for less than he deserves to be gotten for.
More to your
I
point,
agree.
Right? You know what I
agree
mean?
with
You could get him for a little bit cheaper than he should, is
But
what I'm going to say.
you know what we've like forgot? Weeks 1 through 4, Kansas City, Baltimore,
Ridiculous
Pittsburgh,
teams.
Minnesota.
And still, And
he still's the number 13th ranked quarterback, and he has 3 games over 20. Yeah, double arrow. Put like 4
Yeah.
arrows up there.
double arrow.
Trade for Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun
Buy him
Watson
low.
is going to trend
Yeah.
up.
Completely agree. I like Watson this year.
All right. So to finish off the podcast, we're going to be talking way too early Super Bowl
The
predictions.
long-awaited segment.
Everybody wants to know.
Oh yeah.
So
Everybody's dying to hear the 4-on-1s predictions.
I'm going to kick this off to Mike because I feel like Mike has something interesting.
Saving the best for first.
Yeah,
That's right.
love it, Will. Yes. So my Super Bowl pick is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Get out of town.
I don't know why. I don't
no.
understand why. Look,
Now,
they're sitting at 3-1 right now.
The
But for
Bucks
me-
give me a Celtics vibe. Good team.
I like
They'll
that
they're
prediction
a
a lot.
Yeah.
Solid playoff team. They'll make it a
Don't
good
make the
ways.
playoffs. Don't get me wrong. The Buccaneers are a good team. I'm not writing them off. They're just not going to win the Super Bowl.
It
They're
came
not.
down to Tampa Bay and Kansas City for me.
Now-
When I was sitting in my room, I'm like, what am I gonna pick? But the consensus I came to is that Tampa Bay still has room to grow. I think we've seen Kansas City's ceiling. I think we know what Kansas City is. We still don't know what Tampa Bay is. They are 3-1 and have been riddled by injuries. Brady just threw 5 touchdowns last week against, like I said, a top 5 defense. Can we please just stop asking if he has something left in the tank or not? Because he obviously does.
I think he's got a little something left in the
If
tank.
you stack up Tampa Bay to other teams in the NFC, Tampa Bay is probably 1 or 2 for their offense. Probably 1 or 2, right? And they're clearly, by far, no competition to number 1 defense. So if they're arguably number 1 in offense and number 1 in defense, I don't know why it's such a ridiculous claim. Seattle is a fantastic team, and I thought coming into the season that they're going to win a Super Bowl, right? And while I still think that they have a shot of doing it, and a relatively good shot, their defense has just been abysmal. Tampa Bay, on the other hand, is 5th in interceptions, 11th in fumble recoveries, and 4th in opponents' yards per game. They have been amazing on defense, and their offense is lethal, short-handed.
I don't know.
Tampa Bay is my pick to win the
I
Super
just
Bowl.
don't-
I think they're a very strong playoff
They're a
team.
strong team.
But
They're gonna make the
they
playoffs.
really give me a Celtics vibe. I don't know what it is.
Comparison.
They'll flop. Something bad will happen.
Why? Why are they gonna flop? I don't get it.
Tom Brady's getting old. No matter
But-
what.
but-
All right, all right.
No matter
all
what
right.
way.
If they
get so excited he dropped
I
the mic.
did.
if they kick ass next week in week 5,
Against the
my
Packers.
mind will officially be changed. They'll be contenders.
They
Hold on.
contenders.
Yeah. The Bucks are Super Bowl contenders.
Oh,
I
come
think.
on. All right, fine.
Anybody
Then
in the
Bucks will be
playoffs
Su-
are Super
okay,
Bowl
fine.
contenders.
Then I will say that the Bucks will be the Super Bowl winners. I'll join.
Oh
I'll hop on your train.
God, you
Dude.
guys are ridiculous.
They have a fantastic defense, top 5. They have a fantastic offense, and we haven't even seen their ceiling yet. We haven't even seen what they are best at.
And I guess Packers and Bucks will decide that.
No,
We'll
it
see.
won't.
Yes, it
Packers are
will.
fool's gold.
Fool's gold.
Fool's gold.
They're my Super Bowl winner.
Bull.
They're my Super Bowl
That
winner.
is. Oh
Green Bay
God.
Packers.
I
Hey,
Alright.
Are you on board with me?
I am not.
Ah, I thought you would. I would have been so excited. So, Green Bay. It's gonna be simple as this: the Green Bay Packers are hot. Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, who was injured last week, or
Who they beat?
yesterday. Not fantastic.
Just tell me who
teams.
they beat.
The Vikings, the Lions,
Oh,
the
0-4
Saints,
Vikings.
and the Falcons.
0-4 or 1-3 Lions. I forgot.
Oh,
Saints,
Saints,
who
two-
are.
2-2.
Ugh.
2-2,
Yeah, they're bad.
and the
And who?
0-4 Falcons.
0-4 Falcons. What is that combined record? Like 3-13 or something?
Not good. And-
Jesus.
But just listen to this upcoming schedule. And it's going to be kind of annoying, but I'm going to read out the rest of their season. Bucks, Texans, Vikings, Niners, Jags, Colts, Bears, Eagles, Lions, Panthers, Titans, Bears.
I heard
That's
some
it.
tough teams in there.
That's a cakewalk.
Cakewalk?
That is a cakewalk of a schedule.
I heard Texans. I heard Bears.
The Texans still
I
aren't a
heard
great
Bucks.
team, dude. Bears,
You just argued all this time that Deshaun Watson's coming back.
he is coming back. I just don't think, in fantasy, I think he's going to.
Texans started off 0-3 last year. They made the playoffs.
I know they did. What you said it yourself. Deshaun Watson not being there is hurting them.
You mean DeAndre Hopkins
What
not
did
being
I say?
there?
DeAndre Hopkins. Sorry, that's what I meant. I think the Packers could really make a splash in the playoffs. As the great Will Casey once said, this is their year. Will.
Let's face it, the NFL is no NBA. They're predictable.
Mhm.
It's going to be the Seahawks this year. with Russell Wilson playing on an MVP caliber,
Seahawks
two
are,
all-star wide receivers in DK Metcalf and
Yes.
Tyler Lockett,
the Seahawks are beatable, I think.
and with a healthy Chris Carson, no one's getting in their way.
I think
Not
the
even
Seahawks-
the Packers. They always end up. I mean, well, all right. That year, that that both players caught it in the end zone as time expired.
Yep.
In the playoffs that year.
Yep.
It ends always like that. The Packers are going to fall short to the Seahawks in the playoffs.
And they got
And the
like
Seahawks are gonna
completely
go on to win.
dominated by the Niners last
Here's what
year.
it came down to for me, and I understand your suspicion, and I understand your concern about not the best
You know, not
teams that
not
they've
a-
played. First of all, they've pretty much blown out those teams.
You mean bad teams?
I know.
You know who it reminds me of? The Patriots last year. They'll beat up on the bad teams and they'll lose to the good teams.
I know. We have once again untested. We don't know yet. I'm saying right now against their remaining schedule, I don't think it's particularly difficult. And also, what it came down to for me is comparing the other. I didn't include the Bucks because I don't see them as Super Bowl content. Not that it's good, not that, but I don't see them as Super Bowl winners, so they really weren't in this conversation. I put down Chiefs and I put down Seahawks and Ravens. Not too sure.
Yeah, I'm not
The
sure about
Seahawks
the
are
Ravens.
beatable because the Patriots almost beat them by 1 yard, and so are the Chiefs because the LA Chargers almost beat them in overtime.
No one has repeated as a Super Bowl winner since the 0-3-0-4 Patriots. I don't think the Chiefs have what it takes to do it again.
Me neither. More to my point, I don't think the Seahawks do either. I think the Seahawks are a very
Yeah, but
beatable
the
team.
Packers do.
So honestly, what it comes down to for
Yeah.
me, is almost the process of elimination. I really do
That
think
that's kind of what I said. Tampa Bay and Chiefs is what it came down to, and I had Tampa Bay just because of I think that we haven't seen Tampa Bay ceiling yet. We've seen the Packers ceiling. We've seen Seattle's ceiling. They could be a 2-2 football team right now. They were again
Who?
broke Seattle.
Yeah.
We say it all the time. They were 1 yard away from losing to the
They
Patriots.
almost lost to the Dolphins.
And they almost lost to the Dolphins, and they almost lost to the Cowboys. They needed a
That's
2-minute
right,
drill
Cowboys
to
too.
lose to the Cowboys. You know what? Dare I say they could be 1-3.
They
If
could be
one
1
of
and
those
3.
coin flips goes the other way, you're looking at a 2-2 football team. So
And I think it goes for a lot of teams. The Patriots, like we said, could be a 4-0 team.
Yeah.
They're very easily. Easily.
and obviously sometimes the coin will flip one way or the other. But I think the Buccaneers.
And I don't want to sound annoying. The Patriots and us fans have gotten plenty of good tosses and plenty of good luck. So
Not
I
against
think
the
them
Chiefs.
tonight.
Not against the Chiefs.
I know. We've got
Nikhil
a
Harry
lot-
rolled out. Stephon Gilmore blown dead.
We've got a lot of
What
we've got
happened yesterday?
a lot of tough calls. What
What
the
happened
Mahomes
yesterday? Mahomes
interception got called back, and the Chiefs rush to get that punt off. Ridiculous. But just to sum up, Packers,
Bucks.
Seahawks.
we'll see. Ladies
We'll
and
see.
gents, this wraps up this episode of the 411 podcast.
Michael Quattromani signing off.
Will Casey signing off.
This is Pat Daly signing off. This is the 411 podcast. We'll see you next time.